So we have here number 13 NFL light window. Here we have the update here on the games by Fox. So there's 3 late window games, 2 on Fox, and 1 on CBS. CBS one was a nationally televised one. There are no games going against it. In this Fox ones were single windows. They were in like the Sunday TV market areas of the teams. And that's about it, but the only one, Tampa Bay and Carolina, was the featured late window one. That was also shown in the TV markets, the immediate TV markets of the teams who played a game on CBS in the early window. So they don't do that. They have competition. They show the Fox game on the late window. So that maybe the Fox game we can have a few viewers instead of getting none. No viewers. But if it's an early and late window divider, they show both, because some people might tune into the early window game at the very end when their game is done. If they're playing on Fox or CBS, the opposite channel. To watch the late window. Or maybe, you know what I'm saying? Or just watch a certain TV. But we have, Temp, but there was a little stretch of Temp where it was not in the immediate team markets, where it went to a stretch where there's a line where it went down to TV markets. Almost like a driving distance, like you're driving, and then merged up to Pittsburgh and merged down to Indianapolis, went through Cleveland, or not Cleveland, Cincinnati, then went to a little bit of Ohio. West Virginia went to DC area went through up to Washington DC area, then went to the Pittsburgh area. So anyways, we have Tampa Bay and Carolina. Tampa Bay wins this one 26-23. This was a good comeback win for Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay won in overtime, but they were down here in this one. They were down here by 6 to start the fourth quarter, but then they had a touchdown rush, a field goal, another field goal at the end of the game with no time left, the last play of the fourth quarter, and they got a touchdown. And Thielen got 25-yard touchdown pass from Bryce Young to make it 23-20. But 2:50 to go in the overtime. Jason McLaughlin kicked a 30-yard field goal. Logwood. Kicked that 3-yard field goal. Winning for the winning for Tampa Bay. And that was a nice game that Carolina played. But they just couldn't get unfortunate. No, in the NFC, Tampa Bay does not have the division lead right now. Atlanta beat them twice. Atlanta beat Tampa Bay twice in the NFC. So Atlanta won the first game 36-3 in overtime and on the Thursday night. Then on the Sunday game, Sunday noon game on Fox, 31-26. But Tampa Bay is 2 games out. 2 games back in the win column. In the game out of the loss column. They're a game back in the loss column. And they're 2 back in the win column for the 7th seed with the Washington Commanders. However, for the division, they are right there tied with the Atlanta Falcons. However, the Atlanta Falcons, they have to hope, even for Tampa to win they have their division lead. They have to hope that Atlanta loses one more game at least than none, regardless. But in the wild card, for one game loss, and one back in the loss column, and 2 back in the win column. But Washington is one of the last 6 teams. No team had ice because of Thanksgiving and the Black Friday game. There's extra national windows, and they wanted some games for Sunday afternoon windows. So, yeah, so we have Arizona. Then we have Tampa Bay. So, tied. So, it's interesting. But it is going to be interesting who wins the NFC South. And then the LA Rams are a game back in the loss column. They're actually a full game back of the Seahawks for the NFC West too. The Seahawks have clinched the 3rd seed. Not officially, but they have full control over the 3rd seed. Now they're game up on every team in the NFC West. At least they are game up on Arizona. A game up on Los Angeles Rams. Their LA Rams are game. If San Francisco was to come back and beat Buffalo, they'd be a game up on them still. Well, this looks right now. San Francisco's might be 2 games back. So, but a nice win for the LA Rams. But they were having this slow start in that 3rd quarter. They were slow start in that first half. The Saints had a slow start to only 2 field goals. However, the LA Rams had a field touchdown in the 3rd and 2 touchdowns in the 4th. And that's all they needed to win. But nice win by the LA Rams on the road against New Orleans. And now it's making New Orleans tough. They have a couple tough games. One against they have one against the Washington Commanders 2 Sundays from now, and they have one the day before Christmas Eve. They have a game against Green Bay. So they have 2 tough games against teams that are in the NFC wildcard picture, Washington and Green Bay. So it might be a tough road for New Orleans to come back and win the NFC South title. But they're only 2 back in the last column though. But they probably have to steal one against Washington or Green Bay in order for, and even if they win the NY Giants, they win against the Las Vegas. They beat Tampa Bay. So that's still 3. That'll only be 7. That'll only be 7. And then they have 2 more other games. Washington and Green Bay, so it could push them to 7-10. So it could be out of the NFC South playoff race. And then you have a nice win. A big convincing win for Philadelphia. Philadelphia's already shown that they have an 8-game winning streak. There are only 2 losses. One is to Tampa Bay, and one is to Atlanta when Atlanta was rolling. Atlanta was playing pretty good. And they had one against Tampa when Tampa Bay was playing pretty well to start the season. So it's tough. But they've been playing pretty solid football. Philadelphia has. And Philadelphia is really putting on. Here, Philadelphia just has a couple tough games. They got one against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they have one against the Washington Commanders. The second matchup against the Washington Commanders, they have a tough one in the late window on Week 15 in Fox. They got a tough one. They got one against Pittsburgh and one against Washington, so 2 tough games that they can be win, but it's going to be tough, for them. And Baltimore had a little bit, had a little slow start. They had Baltimore did, even though they got the 3 and they got the touchdown, they missed the extra point. But then a couple touchdowns in the second quarter for the Eagles, and then a field goal by Justin Tucker. But Justin Tucker had a miss. Had a miss or 2. That's what helped them. So you have 2 for 4. Justin Tucker was 2 for 4. So he had 2 misses, which is pretty rare for him. He's one of the best kickers in the NFL. He has a wonderful record, and he's a really good kicker. But even good kickers have misses, and that's what hurt him. So lost them the game, 24-19. And then they couldn't come back. Baltimore couldn't come back. Just couldn't stop. Baltimore couldn't stop Philadelphia lead in that fourth quarter, like the middle of the fourth quarter, and they needed to score like a touchdown, and they couldn't get the touchdown. That one. And then they couldn't get the touchdown and the extra point. They couldn't do that, so. But then they couldn't. Then they finally not being able to stop them when they got the ball back. They got a touchdown. They weren't able to score. Even after the drive after a touchdown, they weren't able to get. Right here, they went on. They got stopped in 4th downs early, and then they just also ate up a lot of time, a lot of clock here. They also ate up a lot of clock. Not even able to stop them. They went pretty slow, and they just weren't able to get any stopping them until late, and they really used up a lot of time too. And if they would have been able to force a longer field goal or stop them right away, maybe they would have had a chance, but they just didn't. And that's what kind of hurt them. That's what hurts them. So Philadelphia has a nice solid 24-19 over the Baltimore Ravens. Philadelphia Eagles do. They improved to 10-2, the second seed in the NFC. And the NFC East champion leaders were, and their second best team, record-wise. Or the second seed due to the NFC East champion. There's 2 teams that be eliminated. We got New England and Las Vegas. New England. Denver has a tiebreak over New England. If Denver wins, they would eliminate Jacksonville. Because Jacksonville can get the 8 wins. You can only get the 7 and 10. It would eliminate NY Giants. Or eliminate NY Jets. It would eliminate NY Jets, as the NY Jets, the best they could do would be 8-9. And the NY Jets have played head-to-head already, and Denver won 10-9 over the NY Jets. So I would eliminate them. It would eliminate Cleveland. As Cleveland is playing has the head-to-head loss, would have the head-to-head loss over Denver. So that would push them out. That would eliminate them. And that could eliminate Tennessee. Tennessee does not have a head-to-head against them. But either way, it would make Tennessee could get eliminated based off tiebreakers. Tennessee could still be in. Tennessee could still be in because of tiebreaker scenarios. But still. Things are not good for them. With Detroit. There are a few teams. They're not quite eliminated yet. Chicago, with a loss, would eliminate themselves from the playoffs. Because Washington has a tiebreaker over Chicago. Chicago would have to win out and hope that Washington loses out for them to make it. And then other teams in front of them would be a big mess for Chicago to make the playoffs. For Chicago is pretty much theoretically eliminated from the playoffs. Without saying it, Carolina still has a chance for the NFC South. Dallas has a chance for the wild card, so same with New Orleans has a chance for the division. San Francisco, LA Rams, Arizona still have a chance for the Seattle. Even though Seattle has a win lead right now, Seattle, Arizona, LA Rams, San Francisco are still fighting for the NFC West. Atlanta, Tampa Bay are still fighting for the NFC South. The two teams at the top of the NFC South, New Orleans, Carolina. They still have a good shot. I mean, not a good shot, but still a shot of some sort of chance. And to actually make it, those it still have to be 6 and 11. But whoever wins the NFC South, it starts to put some more separation in those teams. And decrease the number of losses that the other teams can have. Any loss would hurt them. And then next week here we have some games here in Fox and CS. The national games is going to be Cleveland and Pittsburgh. That's the featured early window game on CBS. And the late window game is Seattle and Arizona. And they teased it earlier that Cleveland was going to be Julian Sermo and going to watch the 3-8 Cleveland Browns right now, taking the 9-3 Steelers. It could be 3-9 and 9-3. But we'll see though. So it's gonna be that one. I would have thought it would have been Seattle and Arizona. I would have thought that would be the featured CBS game. And then the Jets, Dolphins, Jaguars, Titans, Raiders, Buccaneers, Browns, Steelers would be the featured. Would be not the national games, but maybe there's regional action games, but Jacksonville and Tennessee. However, that would be just like the bare minimum areas they have to show. Same with in the Las Vegas area. And Tampa Bay would be because they collide with Miami. So they, all three teams play in CBS. So in Florida, that'd be just the bare minimum area for Tampa Bay, Jacksonville, Miami. It'd be the bare minimum for those areas. And yeah, probably most of the country will see the early window game, Cleveland at Pittsburgh. However, you could have some often show Seattle and Arizona too. And then you have the featured early window game, which so far it seemed like it was going to be Carolina Panthers and the Philadelphia Eagles. But I would think though it might be the Atlanta Falcons and the Minnesota Vikings. I would think. But maybe it's not because Atlanta's actually been slipping. They've lost 3 straight games, Atlanta has. Atlanta's kind of had some ugly games. So that's the prediction so far for a week. So I think that's going to be. I thought it could be, but Fox teased it And they said next week's games, and they showed it was going to be Joe Davis, Eagles, and Carolina at Philadelphia, and then it's going to be Buffalo at LA Rams. This is going to be Kevin Burkhart's number. And we got week 15, which they still haven't flexed. CBS is on number 2 is Bills Lions for sure, because they announced that they're going to that game on Thanksgiving. Going to travel to Detroit to host the NFL Today pregame show with the fans in the background. Like kind of like College Game Day or the big noon kickoff show. But yeah. And they're kind of like big noon kickoff where they go to like a game that they have the rights that they show on their air. And then they have Chicago and Minnesota, which is going to be pretty much out of the running. I wouldn't be surprised if the NFL has 2 days. They always wait till 12 days they have until for the Sunday nights until they can flex out a game. So, and technically it could be 12 days to the game's day, but they're not gonna do it so it's Wednesday. They're gonna do it so it's 12 days of the new game date. They have 12 days of the new game date, the 15th. It was Sunday the 15th. So it'd be Tuesday the 3rd, and that's what they did with the other game. You know, instead for week 13, Cleveland and Denver game. They left that one in, but they announced it 12 days prior. To the Sunday night games, which is Tuesday, and they're probably going to announce it Tuesday if they flex. Bears, Vikings out, and Falcons, Raiders out. I would assume they would flex the Falcons, Raiders out because Falcons have lost 3 straight games, and they haven't looked the best. And Las Vegas is out of the playoff race. So I assume they flex that one out, and I assume they flex Chicago up too because Chicago has lost a ton in a row. Chicago lost ever since the Commanders game. They lost 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The Bears were 4-2 after their London game against Jacksonville. And you thought, okay, they look pretty solid. They lost 6 straight against Washington, Arizona, New England, Green Bay, Minnesota, and Detroit. So I don't see them getting flexed in. Keeping the Chicago's flexing themselves out. Minnesota is also flexing themselves out. And there's kind of a reason. I mean, not really. I mean, it's more of Chicago flexing both teams out, but Minnesota's also making this game like a flex worthy game. Because it's going to be like, kind of like lopsided, you know what I mean? It is going to be, and I don't think the NFL's going either Monday night to be this lopsided. I might pick them. But from Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, I might pick. I could also see them pick, it could be, Tampa Bay and LA Chargers. I could see that game being one of the flex candidates. I could also see that being a flex candidate. I could also see Miami and Houston that being a flex candidate. And you could also see, like I said, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. But I wonder if what game is going to be picked. I mean, they could have Colts. They could have Indianapolis and Denver. But that might be if the Indianapolis, Denver, or assume Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. If that was picked, I would go to ABC. The ESPN ones would be the secondary game. So we'll see what they pick or what they do. Maybe they just flex the channels, change the channels of the game. Maybe like they put Bears Vikings. If one of them doesn't get moved, it's like a worse game. Like the Bears Vikings, that still stays. That would go to ESPN, I would assume. And then they pick the ABC one to be like Tampa Bay LA Chargers or Pittsburgh at Philadelphia, or they pick like the better game to actually move to ABC. Maybe we'll see how it goes. But I would assume it has to be picked by Tuesday. They pick up 12 days in advance of the Sunday games for it to be moved. So they're gonna move it. Probably move those on week 16. They might move. They might move Tampa Bay and Dallas out of the Sunday Sunday time slot. They might just flex in. Maybe they flex in. They either flex in Minnesota at Seattle or Philadelphia at Washington. One of those two games they flex into Sunday night or Monday night. Which one would they flex into? I don't know though. No one still has a hope in the AFC, so we'll see which they flex. I'd see one of those two getting flexed. Flex though. Or both actually. Both get flexed or one of those two get flexed. There's two good games, Texans, Chiefs, or Steelers, Ravens. But they have to play on Saturday because they play Christmas Day. So they have it so it's like Sunday to Thursday during transition. Instead they play Wednesday, so they have to play on Saturday because of that. And then the Seahawks Bears could get flexed out. So could Dolphins and Browns. That could be flexed out. And then if San Francisco could get flexed out of Monday night because of the fact that San Francisco, San Francisco could flex themselves out of that game if they're not even competitive in the NFC West race. If they stay competitive in the NFC West race, then they might flex themselves in. But that would be picked on like the 17th. That would have to be flexed in on the 17th, so they got time. But as the 49ers stay competitive in the NFC West race, and they might keep that game. Or they might flex out. And they might bring in flex out Miami and Cleveland. If Cleveland gets eliminated, they'll flex themselves out. And they'll probably flex. They could put LA Chargers, New England, Denver, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and my Giants. Could all flex Arizona, LA Rams into the late window at 3:25 because Fox is going to want a late window. Washington or LA or Atlanta, Washington. So who knows? And you got a really tough decision. Is the NFL to say keep all the late window games, keep the national games, the same? I mean, maybe it's probably a little too late for the Sunday or the Thursday night. Even if they went 28 days of the Sunday game, they might decide tomorrow, but still, I don't know. So